Hello there, my crafty friends. It's Ashley Pfeiffer, the maker behind Stamped AF. I apologize for all the shadows. It's later in the day than I planned. This week, my video is focusing on these Hershey's Kisses sugar cookies. This is the inspiration for all the projects that I will show in this video. I'm actually only going to make one live, but I want to show you what else I came up with. So I will try to remember to show you that at the end. But how stinking cute are these? Look at those little shapes around the outside. Okay, so I am going to show you a fun little box. And initially I had made it in sheeted spruce. We are making a triangle pizza box, basically. So this is all gonna fold up and close. So I watched a video a few weeks ago on how to make this. See, it's this shadow. I'm so sorry. I've got new lighting that's on the way, but it got delayed. It was supposed to have been delivered on Thursday, and Amazon is saying, may still arrive in time. I'm like, no. Okay, so I saw a video a couple of weeks ago about how to make a triangular pizza box. And basically what you need to determine is the size of the box that you need. So let me show you. I've eaten so many of these, I can't speak. I've eaten so many of these that I had to buy another bag, but I'm pretty sure that 7 fit. Nope, just 6. So figure out what it is that you're putting in your box, figure out the height that it needs to be, and all of that other stuff. So what I did to make this easy was to take one of the right triangle dies. I can't remember what the dies are called, but the bundle is the right triangle. And this is the largest of the equilateral triangles. So this fits those 6 kisses. So what I need to do basically is create my template. This is 7/8 of an inch by whatever the length of my triangle is. So those are going to be my tabs, but you can see there are some additional pieces here for the tabs. We are going to wing that, but let me give you this warning. You need to make sure that it's going to fit on your cardstock. So a couple times I started, because it certainly didn't turn out on the first try, I started like right at the corner, or I would put the triangle like too low down. I wouldn't be able to fit the sides, or it wouldn't go all the way to the top. So kind of give yourself more room than you think you're going to need. You can see that you could get 2 of these out of one piece of cardstock. But what I'm going to do is start my first triangle, because I have this one here as a guide. So let's make sure that our sides can fit, 1 side, 2 side, and we do need room for the tab. So I'm going to keep this here as my ugly little guide. But what I'm going to do is take a pencil, and I'm working on smoky slate here. So let's make sure. We could start by doing this side. So let's just trace right along there, and then we've got these pieces. It moved a little bit, so let me trace my triangle. And I can't give you measurements for this because you really have to go through this process of drawing it out. It's not like you can just download a template and that's going to necessarily work. You need to draw it out like this, and it needs to be precise. So that little bit on the edge, I will have to trim that. Otherwise, the side won't be even. So let's go in and do that now before I forget. And then I'm like, why is this side so much higher? I mean, it's a hair. Now we can do this part. Now we've got our triangle again. So this will be the top or bottom, and then we're creating either the bottom or the top. It is the same on, all the sides. That doesn't really matter, but I'm going to erase it. Now we need these over here. This probably looks a lot more confusing than it really is. After you make one, you will totally understand why this works. Or you'll be thrilled with your results and don't really care why it works. I did try using it to create a box for Little Debbie tree cakes. However, they are too big for any of the dies, and it's the longer one. I don't know what that type is called. I think you probably were impressed in the fact that I knew that that was an equilateral. Okay, so we need some tabs. So what we are going to do is just put that back in its place and add approximately 1/2 inch. But we've got a line there, so we know. Now on this middle piece, we need a tab at either end. If this part isn't perfect, don't worry about it. Okay, and then we need a tab on this piece. Basically, you need tabs on the middle and then 2 of the end pieces. So now we can cut this out. And I have found that the easiest way to do that is with my trimmer, although I can't do it all that way. So I will start by cutting off this piece. So you're just going to line your pencil line up in the well or the track. That piece is good for another box. And now we can cut along any of the straight lines. So just make sure that it's even on both sides. Okay, and now anywhere there's a solid line, we're going to score. So move that cutting blade down to the bottom, and here it's a lot easier to see if you're within the track, but we just want to score this piece. We can do our little tab. And as long as you can see the pencil line in your trimmer, so in here, so now let's fold and burnish. I'm just going to burnish with my hands. Okay, so we're not going to assemble quite yet. I'm going to bring in my Stamparatus grid paper. This is my favorite grid paper because it's so small. So if you caught my video last week, you saw that, was it last week? No, it was the week before, where I had the One Sheet Wonder and they were all treat wrappers. This was one of those treat wrappers. So I will link to that video above and you can create it. I used Velcro from the Dollar Tree on this one to keep it closed, but you can fit 4 of these little kisses in here. This was actually the first project that I made. You can fit 4. I'm just going to put 2. And then I just tied a little knot in there. You can see that it comes out very easily. Basically those tabs that keep it in. And cute, 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 right? But this is where I used those little designs. So I'm going to keep this out now as inspiration. And I am going to use the Warm House. So we've got the heart, we've got the tree. I used some candy canes, which wasn't on the package, but big deal. Use the star, and then these little guys, because I didn't want to bring in another stamp set. Figured let's do it where we have just one. Now it will look a little bit different on here because this is gray. So we could do a tone on tone where this is all just gray, but if we bring in that package again, that's exactly how it looked, right? So let's bring in, let's do some color. We'll do Shaded Spruce, Poppy Parade, and again, I'm using the packaging as the inspo. So if you can see, we've got Shaded Spruce, Granny Apple Green, Poppy Parade, Balmy Blue. Look, there's even a little ornament. So I'm sure if you looked at what you had in your stash, you could find a little bell and a little ornament. But we are going to stick with this. I'm not going to bring in the yellow this time. See how easy that comes out? Maybe do a double. Or some adhesive to keep it in place. Okay, so let's mount these onto some A blocks. The tree we are stamping twice because we want that outline and the filler. The same thing with the candy canes. So I have 4 A blocks. I'm going to do what I need first, and I will tell you from my own personal experience, it is far easier to stamp the outline first and then come back and do the filler than the other way around. Now, you may notice also that these aren't all the same. Well, maybe they are. Like the Christmas tree is Granny Apple Green in all of these. They are the same. Okay, disregard. So let's do the tree in Granny Apple Green. It seems weird to see a heart in Shaded Spruce. I'm going to go all over the place. What do you think? Good? I know you can't answer me, but it makes me feel less like I'm talking to myself. Okay, so now we can use our adhesive of choice. If that's tear and tape, go ahead. If it is a liquid adhesive, go ahead. I don't remember which was which, but it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to adhere those sides. And if you are new to Stampin' Up! Or new to liquid adhesive, this adhesive has cement, like a cement compound. So it takes a couple of seconds to set, but once it does, it's there for life. It'll be like your lobster. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch some Friends. Okay, so we'll put some on there. I figure at this point in December, I know we're still early December, but at this point, I know in our area we're not celebrating Christmas. Christmas has basically been canceled, but you can still do treat wrappers for coworkers or neighbors or frontline workers. We can still do stuff like that. It's getting a little late for cards, although I'm just getting mine in the mail this week. You'd think I'd be so far ahead because I have them. I actually did I did custom ones for my customers and for my team. My team gifts, I'm hoping I'm going to get out before Christmas, but they're used to me by now. Okay, so this is a perfect fit. The sides are popped out a little, but I think once we've got some weight in there, it might settle down. If not, you can always miter those corners to take a little bit more out. But how stinking cute is that? Let's get our kisses in there. And who's to say if everyone or anyone's going to notice that the container matches the kisses? Uh-oh, that one's open. Gotta eat it. Who's going to notice that that matches the box? Us crafty people, right? Maybe it does need a tag anymore. So let's go into here. That one would be cute. We're still covering up quite a bit of that top real estate, but that one would be cute. Okay, so let's do this a little something for you, and I think we will pop it up and we'll maybe put a candy cane or something on there so that we're not entirely losing the top here. I'm going to do smoky slate to keep it tone on tone. And I like to put this one on an angle. I think it's because it's on an angle on the stamp cover, the case, whatever it is. Makes me think these are going to be minty, but surprise. And there are little bits of sugar cookie in there. I'm sorry, I need to move this so I can see it, because you have seen what happens when I can't see it. We get ugly trees on the top. I just know that after I finish recording this, I'm going to find like the perfect little accessory to go on here, like a piece of ribbon or something. But at the moment, nothing is coming to me. So I am going to just pop this on. And I don't have any full-size dimensionals open right now because I like to get rid of these pieces before I bring out a new sheet. I don't know about you, but if you're anything like me, you don't like having these partial sheets hanging around. It drives me bananas. Okay, so there is our little cookie box. Not entirely what I was expecting, and maybe we should keep those sides there, but you could stand it up. It'd be super cute. Okay, so you know what? I want to turn this around. It's going to bother me that it's backwards. And then maybe that tree won't be as obvious. And if you peel very carefully, you won't tear your cardstock. Ugh. I'm overthinking it. I'm just going to put it down. Okay, so I told you that this little package had inspired some other projects. So there's this adorable little iced cookie or frosted cookie, whatever you want to say. So I did come up with a design using that. And it is this one here. So I used the Snowflake Wishes stamp set and stamped some snowflakes using Versamark. White embossing powder. I heat set them and then I went over them with crumb cake Stampin' Blends. This is on crumb cake cardstock. I traced a circle that I had for something. It wasn't a bolt of ribbon, but it was something. It might have been a plate or something. And I just traced around it, and then I went in with my stylus and made it look like a plate. You can tell it's so not perfect, but all the dies I had were too small. I had a piece of the buffalo. I'm going to cover that little spot that didn't get covered. I have a little piece of the buffalo plaid or the buffalo check background stamp that I used as like a tablecloth. I've got the In Good Taste DSP to create like a table. And then I used the Nothing's Better Than for the cookies. I stamped the 4 using, what's it called? Oh, I moved everything. Make a Difference. And then I used the Playful Alphabet with the red velvet to do Santa. Nothing on the inside because all the cuteness is on the outside. Okay, so there's that, there's this, and there's one more. This little cutie, I think, is my favorite. Although, if I did it again, I would, instead of putting Whisper White here, I would do Smoky Slate so that it looked like a baking sheet. But these cookies are cooling on a wire rack. So this is, oh shoot, I knew I was going to forget the name. This is from the Best Year bundle or the Plaid Builder. So die cut 2 of these using silver and then just offset them so it looks like this. Cut a piece of Whisper White or whatever color you want so that it looks like it's sitting on the counter cooling. I used those same little plus signs that we used from the Warm Hugs. And then these little cuties are from Turnovers. And this stamp set is retiring as of Tuesday, December 8th. And it really didn't get very much attention, but I used this little ornament. And then I had to fussy cut it, and I did these all on crumb cake. I used my blends to add a little bit of depth around the outside to make it look like they were a little, not burnt, but they were baked. So the heart is this heart, and then I was able to use one of the heart punches, I believe. I think I still had to go a little bit smaller. And then the tree, I couldn't find anything else in here that I wanted to use because I didn't want to have multiple ornaments. Definitely didn't want a bat or pumpkins. So from the tree angle stamp set, which is another one that's retiring, so if you don't have that on your radar or in your stash, make sure you add that. But I just took this one, turned it around, and stamped it on there. So I used Granny Apple Green, Flirty Flamingo, and Balmy Blue, I want to say, although it might have been, no, it looks like Balmy Blue. And then I used the Shimmery Crystal Effects. It's not the most perfect job, but I put that on top. So there's a little bit of glitter, and it makes it look a little more like it was frosted. And then I used this from Itty Bitty Christmas. And I left the inside blank and just added a little bit of linen trim. So there are all my projects that were inspired by that one package of Hershey's Sugar Cookie Kisses. So if you look at the packaging, I hope you can see how I matched them up. I'm not sure I love it on the gray, but if you don't play, you don't learn, right? So those 2, and then we've got the 2 cookie cards. And I think I probably could have kept creating, but I didn't want to show like a dozen projects. So if you have any questions about these two, please let me know, because I didn't demonstrate them. I don't intend to, but if you have questions, please let me know. And if you're new here, please consider hitting that subscribe button below, and you will catch a new video each and every week. And I am starting my Uninked AF series, hopefully this week, still trying to figure out what day of the week I can do this on, where I use a stamp set like Joyful Holly that literally has not seen the light of day. Like everything, I could give this away at this point, but I'm going to do a series where it's a product that I haven't used, or maybe something that I have used but hasn't gotten a lot of attention. Maybe it's a sleeper in the catalog, and my goal is to stream to both Facebook and YouTube at the same time. So stay tuned for that. It will be called Uninked AF. My customers team had a say in that, and I just think it's great. And that is all for this week. I thank you so much. We'll see you soon. Don't forget about the big giant year-end sale starting tomorrow, December 8th, if you're watching this the day that it's released, which is Monday, December 7th. Bye.